In case you didn't know, the PS5 is out. Woohoo! Yay! I didn't get one. Do you think Sony would ever send an asshat like me a PS5? In fact, there's a reason I have personally never reached out to Sony for any sort of review copies for shit. Because for starters, I'm not a sellout, and also because I know if I ever send them an email, they're going to take one glance at my channel and then blacklist me for the asshole that I am. So you can always be reassured that Daddy Frit ain't no sellout. It's just nobody really wants to advertise on my shitty content. But whatever, the consoles are out and they're having their console day one issues, which is to be expected from new tech all the time. None of this shit works flawlessly. I don't know why people always expect brand new tech to work flawlessly. It never does. The super fast, amazing PS5 SSD is not giving much of a difference in load times next to the Xbox Series X right now. And there are some games on the PS5 that have higher frame rates. And all of this will be fixed with patches and downloads and updates. You know, the thing that we PC gamers always get told we're dealing with. But whatever, people have their brand new consoles, they're happy, they're not on Twitter fighting right now. So while everybody's enjoying their brand new pieces of tech, I'm sitting here reading the reviews and laughing my ass off at the people who are paid by professional industries to write about their personal feelings inside reviews. Of course, there's nothing wrong with reviewing tech and saying in the review, oh, I think the LED lights look like shit. You're at least talking about the product you're reviewing. Kotaku don't do that. You see, when it comes to Kotaku, one minute they'll be telling you, oh, the PS5 has this game and that game. Oh, and by the way, did you know that capitalism is going to destroy our country from the inside out?
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Appreciate it.
You know, because when I click on a review for the PS5, the first thing I want to see is a soy boy talking about his soy boy issues with the world and how unfair it is. So the reviewer is Ian Walker. I don't know who the hell this person is. All I do know is that they protected their Twitter not long after this review was discovered. Aw, look at them. They're so cute with their big boy job. Y'all wish you were in the position they had, but sadly you all lack the virtue signal points that they've been racking up over the years. They're qualified for this fucking job. They were born for it. I'm sitting at my desk, staring at the PlayStation 5 looming over my media stand. Entertainment center is a little too grandiose for the small piece of Target furniture that holds all my gaming stuff. How the hell I'm going to review this thing? How would my boss, whose various PlayStation 4 reviews I've skimmed several times so as to glean some insight into what I should cover, review this thing? How can anyone at this very moment in time review this thing?
It's kind of traumatic, you know? Last night I only slept like 9 hours.
You know what I used to do for my money back in the day? You know, I say back in the day, it was only a few years ago. I used to work under the basement of a goddamn mill, 4 feet high. I had to be hunched over 12 hours a day, scooping up wet sawdust stuck under all the machinery and gears. And since that shit was loaded with oil, it would weigh a fucking ton. I'd have to scoop that shit into a wheelbarrow, walk that wheelbarrow all the way across the other side of the mill, drop it off, rinse and repeat. The minute you actually got out from under that basement and tried standing up straight, it felt like your back was about to snap in half. You know, I've done a lot of things to break my back for a few bucks, and now that I look back, it was one of the most retarded things I ever did. But here we have this guy who has someone walk up to him and literally tell him, I'm going to pay you to simply write down your thoughts on the PlayStation 5. But obviously, it's a Kotaku journalist. You can't ask that of them. That's way too much. Who the fuck wants to talk about gaming when nobody will mention the goddamn misogyny women have to deal with on a constant basis in Fall Guys? Now, to their credit, they do accomplish the goal of writing a review about the PS5, you know, the very difficult task that was asked of them. But they end it with saying this. But I'd be remiss to ignore all the reasons not to be excited for the PlayStation 5. The world is still reeling under the weight of the COVID-19 pandemic. There are more Americans out of work right now than at any point in the country's history, with no relief in sight. Our healthcare system is an inherently evil institution that forces people to ration life-saving medications like insulin and choose suicide over suffering with untreated mental illness.
What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
Holy... Stop! Take a break! Hold on! What the fuck's happening? I'm not going to dismiss any of those issues as if they're not legit, because they are, but what the fuck are they doing in a goddamn PlayStation 5 review? Not going to lie, I was at a bit of a conflict with myself here because on one hand, I do acknowledge everything he's saying is an actual issue and a problem right now, but nobody is clicking on a goddamn PlayStation 5 review to be reminded about everything that's so fucked up with 2020 right now. We fucking get it. There's a pandemic. The country went into a massive shithole. The person running it sucked major ass. We know. We've been told for 4 fucking years. And for the entirety of 2020, anything that could have COVID attached to the article would be attached to it, even if COVID played no major role in that fucking story. When you watch Digital Foundry, are they stopping midway in their video to tell you, it seems that the COVID is a very serious issue, and President Trump must be removed from office. No, you don't see them doing that bullshit, because I'm sure that they know you're bombarded with that shit 24/7. But being the virtuous journalist that you are, you just had to flash it to the world. You had to let everybody know, look guys, I acknowledge all these issues in the world. You're not fucking special. Everybody knows COVID is an issue. Everybody knows our healthcare is fucked up. Everybody knows a lot of people lost their jobs this year. Hell, I'm one of those people, okay? You don't have to keep reminding us. We know things went to shit. Can you not give us some goddamn space, please? Can we not just have a simple PlayStation 5 review? As I'm writing this, it looks very likely that Joe Biden will be our next president.
Say, you may cut me, man, but I'm gonna wrap this chain around your head.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy going from an authoritarian, overly conservative prick like Trump to an asshat like Biden that locked up millions of people for something as simple as weed. Thanks, America, giving me the best choices in the world right now. But it's clear that the worst people aren't going away just because a new old white man. White man? My god, that's the worst type of them all. Okay, real talk, I don't want to repeat the same anti-SJW talking points you guys have heard for the past 7 years, but I honestly have to say it. Could you imagine how controversial this article would have been if that one sentence they said, instead of white man, was black man? I mean, let's just take a look at one of the people Sony sent to PlayStation 2. Let's see what they had to say.
Wonderful mixture of cultures and languages. The way he leaps off of rooftops and flips backwards to face the camera before falling into a headfirst dive is just full of the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Oh, look at that. Look at the people Sony is sending free PS5s to. They take your titties away. They take your online gameplay away. They take 1440p away from you. They won't give you next-gen graphical updates unless you pay another extra $10 on top of the $60 you paid for it. And now they'll only send review copies to people who are absolutely horrible at journalism. Like, honestly, yeah, the PS5 has nice games, but this has not been a great launch. It's sitting behind the Resolute desk. Well, at least not this old white man. Our government is fundamentally broken in a way that necessitates radical change rather than incremental electoralism. Again, yeah, sure, I mean, it's true. But what the fuck is this doing here? Holy fuck. I need another bong rip. Well, thank you, Kotaku, for being the #1 source of PlayStation news and political opinions. Yeah, that's totally an appropriate place to get all your political influences, from Kotaku. I mean, I don't know, I guess it's slightly better than One Angry Gamer. Now, I'm not one to tell people to stay in their own lane. People can do whatever the fuck they want with their channel or website, but you're a goddamn gaming journalist. People are not exactly expecting such vast political knowledge. They're not clicking on your website for that deep political talk, especially when your website is advertised as a gaming journalist website. Now, everybody obviously knows nobody clicks on Kotaku to read about gaming. Everybody clicks on Kotaku to see how awful the latest article is. And there's always a payoff, 9 out of 10 times at least. The harsh truth is that, for the reasons listed above and more, a lot of people simply won't be able to buy a PlayStation 5 regardless of supply. Or if they can, concerns over increasing austerity in the United States and the growing threat of widespread political violence supersede any enthusiasm about the console's SSD or how ray tracing makes reflections more realistic. Not to say you can't be excited for those things. I certainly am, on some level, but there's an irrefutable level of privilege attached to the ability to simply tune out of the world as it burns around you. How goddamn special do you think you fucking are? Everybody has lived through at least some form of chaos in this country at one point, and people were still gaming. When the 2008 economic crash happened, guess what? People still got their consoles and were still playing. Yes, we'll always have empathy for people who can't afford it right now, but there's always going to be people who can't get a next-gen console day one. And I don't exactly think their opinions are going to be swayed by political violence going on outside right now. No, they're gonna take their console and they're going to play it at home and stay the fuck away from any violence. Is it a privilege? No, it's a goddamn luxury. If you have the money, you fucking buy one. Either way, those who can't afford it still have the option of sticking with their current gen consoles because the support will be there for the next, 2 years? People were bashing Sony and Microsoft for not fully committing to going next gen right away, but can you blame them? That's probably one of the better things Sony and Microsoft can actually do for their current consumer base, is continue to give them support. So when people are able to afford it, they can just get it. I'm pretty sure if they had the money now, they would get it, regardless of the political violence going on outside your window right now. That's not going to affect them playing their console, okay? People need a break from that. Look how special I am compared to all of you out there. I acknowledge that I have the privilege of being able to be excited about next-gen consoles. All of you out there, you don't acknowledge COVID. You're not like me. At least I can admit I feel guilty that I'm enjoying my time with the PS5 amongst all this chaos and suffering that I'm not going through. It doesn't specifically say that, but you can't deny it reads that way. I won't deny that video games can be an escape. It feels great to lose yourself in a fictional world where you can fix everything. Some of us see a strength or personality trait in video game characters that we wish we saw in ourselves. As much as it sucks for real-world problems to intrude on that space, I found it increasingly difficult to focus on video games amid our current situation. Many nights it's all I can do to play a couple runs of Spelunky before collapsing into bed for a few hours of doom scrolling and restless sleep. And I know I'm not alone in that feeling. We are collectively tired, and for a good reason.
Got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
What the fuck is this? Sony literally sends out a fucking free PlayStation 5 to a fucktard like this. Man, if you would have given me a PlayStation 5, Sony, I would have probably sold it. But I would have made a hell of a better review than this asshat. All I can say, Ian, is congratulations, you played yourself. You fell into the media rabbit hole. You allowed the media to advertise bullshit things to you that would anger you 24/7, because that's exactly what gets them ratings. They feed off of how vulnerable you are to these issues. Sony and Microsoft chose a hell of a time to release their next generation video game consoles. I think the PlayStation 5 is a great machine, but it's tough to recommend when folks are literally fighting for their lives while residing in the richest country in the world. I was very lucky to receive a PlayStation 5 for the purposes of this review, despite the fact that I am comfortable enough to have bought one for my own.
Oh, hey, fuck you.
Well, first off, Sony and Microsoft were going to release these consoles in 2020 regardless. COVID was the unexpected factor. The release date was never going to be different. They didn't decide, oh yeah, we're gonna release these consoles around COVID time. I don't know how you could not recommend a console due to the conflicts of the outside world. Okay, this is a tech review of the console, and this is supposed to be your final summarization of the whole thing, and you're telling people, I can't really recommend you get one because of COVID, and people are losing their jobs. Does Sony actually check on the people that they send these PS5s to? Do they actually like look at their reviews or their channels and see what they said? I know Nvidia does that with Linus and so does Intel, but what about like nobody fucktards like this? Has Sony actually seen what they write? Because there's no way Sony would be happy or okay with that. If you're in the same boat, I encourage you to grab the console and see what it's all about for yourself. If you aren't, don't feel like the PlayStation 5 would change your life. It's a video game system and it's not going anywhere. I'm looking forward to a time when we can all chat about next generation gaming on equal footing. Without a dozen daily crises looming over our heads. Until then, let's focus on what's truly important, even if that means stepping out of the next gen hype machine for a bit. Sony, hey, my channel's starting to look a lot nicer now, isn't it, huh? This is literally coming off as somebody guilt-tripping everyone around them about being excited for next-gen consoles and not more concerned about all the tragic shit that they're hearing 24/7. People are not allowed to have their minds off of that shit for even 1 to 2 hours a day. Nope, you have to have your mind on it 24/7, motherfucker. Honestly, this is embarrassing. This is an insult to gaming journalism, an insult to any type of journalism, even an insult to political journalism. The cheap tactic of trying to insert this shit into something totally unrelated. Listen, what you wrote is not inspiring other people to be journalists. And if it is, it's only so they can save journalism from people like you. This was awful. I don't know why people recommended me this. All it did was piss me off. Because that's all anybody wants to do now. Everybody wants everybody else around them to be pissed off because nobody around them is pissed off enough. Y'all need to just smoke some fucking weed and chill the fuck out. And hopefully I'll never have to read another stupid ass Kotaku article to you again. All I do know is I'm still gonna end up responding to some stupid bullshit for you in the next video. So I'll see you in that one.
Everything I do is just too sweet.